let's start where Manu left off. That Connie travels, was it 40,000 miles to come to Kibera to start to solve problems and transform a community. What can we do here? And I think there are many people in this room who are here to learn from your experience, to understand how they can support. So you come to Kenya to do a movie, and something you see transforms your life. So tell us about that moment.
My part of the scenes were in the film were all happening out in Nairobi. And when I arrived, the crew had been filming for 3 weeks inside of Kibera. It was a half Danish crew, half Kibera-based crew. And by the time I arrived, the Danish crew were beset by amoeba infections, by malaria, by you name it. And they were astounded that their Kibera crew was even able to live. They could not understand how they were able to endure such hardship during the rains and not get sick when everyone else was sick with diarrhea and various other ailments. I was, of course, there to do the film, not least because the director had shown me the pictures of some children who were going to work in the film, and some of them were almost white. They had this kind of fungus on their skin and had lived with this fungus on their skin their whole lives. They were 9 years old, these boys. And she showed me the pictures of them before, and they were really talented actors. And so she had hired them, and she had given them one little treatment, 1 day treatment of antibiotica. And an ailment they had lived with their whole life was gone.
It just cleared up.
It cost $1.75 or something, and all of a sudden, beautiful black children. And of course, she showed me the picture of them with the ailment, and of course, I started crying and said, "Okay, I'll do the film. Just don't show me any more pictures. I can't take it." And I went in, and on Sundays, which was my day off, I would go around Kibera with my bodyguard at the time. I didn't know I needed one, but the production felt I had to have one. And so he took me around Kibera, and I got to know all of the crew who was there, the cast. I visited their homes. I heard about the history of Kibera and the kind of people who were living there. I went to an arts community. I met a poet. I met all kinds of amazing people. And when I figured out that 1 billion people worldwide live in slums, it seemed to me incredible that 1/7 of our world population should be condemned to have no opportunity except, like Mr. Chandaria said, to live and die, but with nothing in between.
What I heard there is you made the human connection. You were simply humane. And maybe the question we have to ask in this room, sometimes do we work really hard to switch off our humanity to some of the things that we see? And perhaps we just feel overwhelmed and we feel little old me. What can I do to solve such a big problem? So let me come to that now. So you connect and you see all this and your empathy and humanity kicks in and you say, we could do something. It took $1 medication for $1 to transform the lives of these little boys. So then what's the next step in bringing transformation?
So I was walking around with said bodyguard whose his street name was Bangkok. And we were, you could definitely, know from him. He played the bad guy also in the film, because he looked scary. And we walked around and he said, the elders would like to ask you if you would build a well here. We need a well. We have water points, but the water points are contaminated. We need a well. Will you build one? And, I couldn't say no. So I just said yes. And then I came home, and I woke up very early. You're so jet lagged when you come back to the West Coast, and I was up like at 4:30 in the morning. I go to the computer in the kitchen, and I type into Google, kid you not, swear, how do I build a well in Africa?
You start at the beginning. Okay.
And the sad thing was that there was no answer. I just went on a tear, and I'm very good at research because that's what I do for my roles. I create a whole world of knowledge so that I can tap into that and act like a person would who has that knowledge. So I just kept on getting all of these reports, found them all online, from World Bank, from IMF, from UN Habitat, and what was clear was that NGOs and development has issues. It has issues. There's something wrong with the way in which we help people. People think, oh, let's give people water. And people feel so happy. Oh my God, we're helping people to give water. And I applaud that. That's great. But it turns out that those forms of help may not really be helping people as much as we want them to. What we came up with was a way to use the capital investment in any infrastructure project and make it cover as many services as possible, making a larger investment, but ultimately coming up with a much lower per capita cost for these infrastructure projects. And then by reading all of those problems, we started putting together a format where, okay, we had to integrate it politically. In Kibera, it's a flashpoint. We all know it. I got to know it intimately from working there, just 2 years after the violence, and seeing the scars and the very people I was working with. Bangkok, in fact, is missing an eye from having it hacked off during that time. And then we came up with a format in which we were going to help people to help themselves.
So this is the fascinating thing, understanding that transformation can only happen if it's sustainable, if the people actually are able to own that transformation, not if we take it as an outcome and land it at their feet. Let's talk about the skills building that you're doing, the partnerships that you're establishing, and what your request to any corporates who might be sitting here right now, government, development world, what would you say to them right now? So let's look at that.
So I'd like you guys to understand that the center itself is basically there to help somebody get a job. That's what the center is there for. We figured that we would construct an infrastructure that had everything in it that everyone in here needs to get to work every morning. Now, I'm going to ask how many of you guys had a shower today? It's funny.
Who didn't have a shower?
It's funny. I usually have 100% of hands in the air. How many in here had a glass of water today? How many in here checked their email the last hour? How many in here had need of fresh clothes today? Everybody. The thing is, we don't even think about these things. We take them for granted, and yet, for a person in Kibera, none of these things are possible. None of these things are possible. So how on earth are they supposed to get jobs when they can't even get ready to get out of Kibera into a place where they can sit with fresh clothes, with a shower, and having drunk clean water so that they're not sick, and having been able to communicate with the world? So we set up a system that can help them do all of that. There is a laundry where they come, they pick up the laundry at 5 o'clock in the morning. They take that fresh clothes into the shower. They have a hot shower. They get changed in there. They take their dirty clothes back to the laundry. They go to the cafeteria where they have a hot tea and a mandazi. And then it's right on the way up to the Ngong Road where they will catch the matatu. This is somebody whose lives, professional lives, just were rendered completely and much more easy. By the way, while they're at the center, they have optic fiber, high-speed internet, so they can check their emails at any given point. There are 80 computers at the town center, with which we have additionally created IT training. We figured none of these people can afford to get college degrees. By the way, Kenya has so many college graduates, they can't even find enough jobs for them yet. So what we don't have enough of is the people who are below that college degree, who have new innovative technology knowledge. and can put it to work at an affordable cost for businesses. That's where we come in. What we're good at is precisely that.
Can we please clap for that? Thank you.
So Davis and Shirtless has worked with us and helped us install all of these amazing systems inside of Kibera Town Center. And this week, I said to them, listen, I've been around seeing all of your incredible factory. You make beautiful things. Everybody in here is a college graduate. They literally have engineers, and half of them are women, by the way, at Davis and Shirtless. And yeah, I know, they're really wonderful. They're a fantastic company. They're like us, by the way, also. All of our managers, 34 of them, are half women, half men, and they are from all the tribes. We are a Face of Kenya organization, and we've done this consistently from the beginning to make sure that it was a peace project at the same time. It was a fair project. I said to Davis and Shirtless, you know, you've got to be able to use people who are not college graduates. And they say, absolutely, you know, we have people who go around and service all of our installations around Kenya. I said, I need from you guys a pledge to take 10 people every year from Kibera and help, tell me what you want, and I will give you the most professional, the most dedicated and driven workers that you could possibly want. I said, you know, Kibera has a bad rap. People think, oh, Kibera, oh, they're going to come steal something. They're going to, you know, take something from our offices. We can't leave our, you know, bags around or something. But I can tell you that in 7 years, I have never lost a single phone or object in my possession, nor has anyone else who has been to the town center. When we built the town center using new groups of 50 every 2 weeks, all of them from the community. I think the only thing that ever went missing was a bag of nails. Darren has been there many times with his family, and I think they have seen that it is a very safe place. I said to them, this kind of people, you're offering them a job, well, they will take that chance and they will make it worth your while. More than anyone else, they will make it worth your while. And that is what I want to say to everyone else here. If you have businesses, share work, give work, help me, help them. You know, you will get people that you will never want to part with. If you see the managers at the town center, you will see the most dedicated workers ever, and they are as smart as anyone you could ever find anywhere else. They're just simply as brilliant, and think what it takes to survive and thrive in a place like that. That's resilience.
So let me follow that up, because Chris will come up and will be asking for pledges. And can I just say to you, if your pledge is, I can give jobs, or I can work with corporate partners to really marshal them together and get 100 jobs a year for this project, that is a pledge that would be appreciated. Yes. I'm coming to the floor in a minute, but first I've got to look, I'm a mom of 5. So I've got to tap into that. I love it. Can we just give Connie a round of applause for being a robust mom of 5 as well? And we're in Women's Week, and I find that so often we're telling young ladies, don't have family now, focus on career, family later, you know, as if you cannot balance, right? What message would you have, and we do have some young ladies in this room today, what message do you have for women, young women everywhere?
Well, I mean, I'm employing quite a lot of single mothers at the KTC, you know, and I think that there is a special dignity, a human kind of dignity that comes with work. I think that there's a part of your humanity that needs to express itself through work, through doing something that you are good at. And I think that transmitting that to your children is a really wonderful thing. I have chosen to stay home with my kids for the first couple of years for every child, and then I've gone back to work. It is a luxury to be able to do that not every person can afford. And also, a lot of women, if they stay out of work for that long, the technology will have passed them by, and so it's not always possible for women to do so. it takes an extra amount of work for us women to get to the place that we want to be, where we get paid the same as men, and where we are able to express ourselves also without the amount of guilt that you feel. I feel intense guilt every time I get on a plane. But on the other hand, I was sitting on FaceTime with two of my kids, my 16-year-old stepson and my 10-year-old son, who were having a burger down in San Francisco while I was talking to them. And they were asking about my work. And you know what? My 16-year-old, he said to my 10-year-old, look at that. She's installing streetlights in Kibera right now.
Wow.
And, I just know that they're so proud of me, that's meaningful work, And I think that you are as much a parent as much as you're able to inspire your kids.
Wow, powerful.
Stay with the Africa Leadership Dialogues.
I have a question, and I would like you to talk about that a little bit. We've spoken this, before. Kibera is just one of many that you wanted to do. It's a community change that you're looking at right now. But also, I think I'd like to hear about, and the audience would like to hear about the societal change that you would like to do.
We would like to scale the center. I've been trying to get to the point where my income can basically say, hey, I've proven my business case. I'm trying to make it also financially self-sustainable. I believe that by the time I start, when I'm able to issue shares to its users through a format that's called fairshares.coop, I believe I'll be able to have enough visits per day to make the center financially self-sustainable. At that point, I'll have a bulletproof case. Already right now, I have a humanitarian case. I'm showing the impact. We have amazing impact numbers. Everything at the center is data-driven. We have a POS system. I can tell you exactly how many cappuccinos Kiberans drink. I can tell you exactly how many showers they take per day. I can tell you so many different things. I can tell you how much water I pumped. I can tell you how much water I sold. I can tell you if there's anything in between. I can tell you so many different things because we're a data-based organization and we're transparent. And so it will be my greatest pleasure to hopefully at the end of this year to be able to put together the kind of scoping studies and the kind of preparations to scale this to more places.
The amount of women, first of all, bringing up single-parent homes, which, it's a big problem. But also the amount of women in small businesses who are transforming this country, who are holding this country up, and how we need to support and grow them. And what can we do to connect this kind of transformation within society to the businesses that these women are running? Do you see an opportunity? What do you learn from this?
First and foremost, I wish to congratulate you. I think this has come at the right time when we are celebrating the International Women's Day, just 2 days to the International Women's Day. When we look at the country today, we are housing 15 million SMEs in this country, and 3/4 of that could be women and the youth. And possibly some of them is what you're really taking care of. What I can say is there's a lot of collaborative measures and also sectors that we can bring together. For instance, if you talk about water, there are women who are in the sector that they are in water business. If you talk about clothing, there are women who are running industries every other day. And if we involve them in this kind of a project, I am sure there is something that can come out of that in terms of CSR base and also extending even into the business.
I would love also to get women mentors for the female entrepreneurs that we are educating at the town center. We have wonderful, incredible women, and we also have our own SACO. We have 500 savers, and we're also giving out business loans. So, yeah.
Fantastic, because we also have subcommittees of women who are even trainers, women mentors, and some of the things we do to the ground, we cascade it to the bottom of the pyramid. Much of it is not for profit making, it's usually CSR. So we can do a lot together.
Hello, my name is Harun Momanyi, and I am a journalist and a Global Schools Ambassador with the UN Sustainable Development Solutions Network. So I wanted to find out, is there a way young people can engage with your program, maybe by volunteering?
Absolutely. If you're, for example, a journalist, we are starting a VR, virtual reality journalism course as soon as I get funding for it. But we have already got the commitment of Wycliffe Muga from STAR and from a wonderful VR organization here led by Trevor Snap. And we are going to start a journalist school there. And certainly, as many of the young people who want to come again and mentor young people in these programs, that's hugely important.
Giuliani, come rap for us a little bit. Say something, inspire us, tell us how you're feeling, and then we'll hand over to Chris. But come on, let's give Giuliani a round of applause as he comes up. Oh, and Gilad is here too. No, Gilad Milo as well.
Gilad sang at the Kiveras Got Talent as well. He did.
So you guys know these two. Who doesn't know these two? So amazing musician, amazing rapper and musician, but also transformers. And for so long, Gilad, I know, working in the agricultural space, but working in the development space, working with the young talent. You, Giuliani, trying to transform young talent and give opportunity. Where can you partner? What can you take from Connie's story? Inspire us a little bit more.
I just want to add that they're both huge supporters of and have been amazing help, both of them, supporting especially our Kiveras Got Talent program, and being great leaders in the community.
Hello, everybody, and Connie, big up again for everything you're doing. While being Wonder Woman's mom at the same time. First of all, my own pledge, which I made last time and continues and now will re-engage, which is on a personal level to come back. There are artists there, and they love master's classes, and they love if you can teach. So the talent show was one thing, but to turn it into a regular thing, just come regularly and run my own class there. Yes. So that's my own pledge. The advice, now not as the musician, as the Israeli, I have to. You guys, have you heard of Kipod? Kipod is a flash disk, which is a computer. So it's a USB, which is a computer. So your 80 computers turn into 8,000 by giving every individual their own USB password. When you put in your USB, it becomes a computer. Very, very low cost. We just launched one in a school in Kibera, a separate one. So, I mean, that's another connection that you could make, and it really does give all the kids the opportunity.
Thank you very much.
My 2 cents.
You'll sing, Ben. So my name is Giuliani, and I'm a hip hop artist. And how I know Connie is through Mkurugenzi hapa Diren. So Diren, what we've been able to do is at the dump site where all the dump end up, the 2,000 ton of dump every day. So we have a space there. We bought a space there, and that's how I got to know Connie, and he's been a big supporter when it comes to that. So one of the big spaces that we're using to transform young people, especially in the informal settlement, it's arts and music. So yes, there's something about confidence. There's something about being able to express yourself. A person like me, Kizungu ni ngumu unajua. So having confidence to express yourself, that's so I know a lot of Kenyans who are doing stuff to support, of course, young people in informal settlement and projects like this. But I think we need more. We need an army, Andy, to just run in there, and sometimes it's just affirmation. Sometimes it's not just because it's easy to give and run away, Sindio. So it's not just about giving. So it's easy to give. Everybody can give. At the end of the day, we'll give millions out of this place. But there's something about working with people and affirming them.
Thank you so much, guys. It's inspirational. Give us a final word on the development world, the way it operates. What needs to change? What needs to shift? What's your message?
I do think that the more we can do to ensure that whoever you're helping, whatever you're doing and however you're doing it, that you're doing it from not a place of pity, but from a place of respect. That you look at people not as if they somehow, by needing help, are inferior to you, or have less intelligence, or less heart, or discipline for that matter. These are simply skills that you can make available, and the more you do it with respect, and the faster people are able to help themselves. That's really where I think that the big change, it comes from a mindset that needs to change on our side too.
Wow, let's give Connie a round of applause. And Chris, as you come back up, I always share African proverbs because I feel they're words of wisdom, and we don't really share African wisdom often. And I share this one too often, but I love it because it really focuses our minds. No matter how many times you milk a cow, it cannot produce butter. I say it over and over again. We've been milking this cow, expecting things to change, and they haven't. And it's time for us to be very clear, very strategic, very humane, and interconnected about the transformation that we're doing.